Yo, what is going on, you guys? It's your boy King Sanders here. We are back with another day of sports betting. This is going to be for Tuesday, April 18th slate of NBA action. We have 3 playoff basketball games on, and we've got some really great matchups here, so I am super excited to dive into it. Before we did, I did just want to go ahead and say that we are still currently on the road to 13,000 subscribers. So if you guys are new, make sure that you guys do go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, turn on that notification bell so you guys know whenever I post. Next, I did just want to go ahead and give a quick shout out here to all of our members here on the channel. Thank you guys so much for everything that you guys do, and thank you guys so much for giving such a small channel such a big chance, as I always say. It truly does mean the absolute world to me, so much more than you guys will ever know. So, without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive into a quick recap, man. And unfortunately, since I didn't end up adding any plays, normally I'd be bringing out the shades, bringing out the sunnies, but we did end up going 2-0 on our plays. We ended up sweeping the board, but since we only had 2 plays, I'm going to save it because we're going to be having 3 plays today. I only have 2 as of right now, but I'm definitely going to be asking for some input on the last one, and definitely going to be adding one. So, without any further ado, let's dive into a quick recap. We had Tobias Harris over 13.5 points. This was free as could be. Absolutely free as could be. He had the 7 points going into halftime and ends up hitting this early in the third quarter. So this one ended up working out pretty easily. Really didn't have to sweat about this one too much. But then for our second play that we did end up having was Domantas Sabonis getting our money back over 32.5 points plus rebounds versus the Golden State Warriors, minus 110. This one ended up working out. He had a breakaway dunk with 7 seconds left in the game to hit his over. You can't make this kind of stuff up. You really just can't. It was an absolutely electric cover, and it ended up working out for us. So we ended up going 2-0 on our plays today. Hopefully we can have another good day today and make it another nice little run here to go into the playoffs. I really love the plays here. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive straight into it. So for our first official play of the day, we are taking Donovan Mitchell over 4.5 assists here versus the Knicks at minus 140. Now, I know this one's juiced. I know if you want to go ahead and slap it into a parlay, maybe even throw it into Prize Picks so that way it's a little bit more of an even square. But I just love the spot here for Donovan Mitchell. I think that Donovan Mitchell is going to easily be able to get to his 5 assists, and let's go ahead and talk about why. So first things first, let's talk about Game 1. As simple as it can be, in Game 1, he ended up having 8 assists, and he had multiple potential assist opportunities. With that being said, I think that Donovan Mitchell is going to be a very key part to this offense, of course. But I think that the Knicks defense is going to focus on him, make it a little bit tougher for him, make some of the other guys, like Darius Garland, who had a really bad game last game, from like a scoring standpoint. I think they are going to make guys like him score the basketball a little bit more. And so I think that it is going to lead to a lot more pick and roll opportunities for a guy like Donovan Mitchell, drive and kick opportunities. And I think that this is a really great spot here for him because this year versus the Knicks, he's been really good. He's had 8, 5, and 12. So he's hit the over in all 3 games. Of course, one was right on the hook, but hey, what kind of bet would it be if there wasn't a little bit of sweat? So I really do love the spot here, and he has been really good in the playoffs too. If you take a look at his last 16 playoff games, he's hit the over in 13. Now, of course, some of those were a little bit different roles, a little bit different scenarios, different teams, of course, different matchups, but he has hit the over in 13 of his last 16 playoff games, and 2 of those losses that he did end up having were hooks, where he finished right with 4. So if he's going to finish right around 4 or 5, I'm just going to take my odds with it, especially against a very good Knicks defense, especially from the guard position. They do a very good job of guarding that, and if you watch the game last game, when they were coming off of pick and rolls, the New York Knicks had a lot of people like blitz the ball handler. If they tend to do it's a very similar thing, it's going to lead to a lot of potential assists, and Donovan Mitchell's just going to need his teammates to knock the shots down. So I really like it here. Knicks do also allow the 9th most assists per game to opposing shooting guards this season. So hey, they're top 10. I love the spot here. Hopefully it ends up working out for us. Honestly, I would slap this into a parlay. I think this is going to be extremely easy. Could be wrong, of course. It's always a possibility, but I love the spot here. So that is going to be our first official play of the day. Donovan Mitchell over 4.5 assists here versus the Knicks at minus 140 odds. Now for our second official play of the day, we are taking a guy who let a lot of people down last game. We're taking Trae Young over 24.5 points here versus Boston at minus 110. I know that Boston is an elite defense. I know that Trae Young was absolutely awful and hurt a lot of people last game in Game 1. But come on, this line is so incredibly low. 24.5 is so low for a guy like Trae Young, and he had a really bad game shooting, of course. He shot 5 for 18, which is under 30%. He's shooting under 30%. I don't really foresee that happening once again. I know that Boston is a very good defense, but Trae Young has been really good versus Boston. If you go ahead and look up his last 5 games versus Boston, this is the only one that he didn't hit this over on last game. So I think he does start to have a little bit of a revenge game, start to get things rolling once again. And also, Trae Young averages 25 points per game on the road. You're just asking him to hit his over or to hit his average. If he can do that on his normal 19 field goal attempts, I think that we're sitting pretty high. I think that this is going to be a really good spot here, and he does also attempt 6 3-pointers attempted per game. If he hits even half of these, we should easily be able to cruise over this. I know that Boston's elite defensively. I know that Marcus Smart is one of the best perimeter defensive players in all of basketball, but overall, Trae Young is going to have the shot attempts. He's going to have 20-plus shot attempts more than likely, and he's going to have anywhere from 6 to 10 3-pointers. You're asking for a very good recipe there. So I really do love the spot here. I know that he played bad last game, but I think this is a really good bounce back spot. So that is going to be our second official play of the day. Trae Young over 24.5 points here versus Boston at minus 110 odds. Now I'm going to go ahead and talk about the Phoenix and the Clippers game. I know that right now I could easily just go back to Kawhi Leonard over in PRAs. I definitely could. But it does kind of scare me off just a little bit to, the Clippers ended up losing last game. The Suns are still 7.5-point favorites. The Suns are still at home, and it just scares me a little bit. I think that Kawhi Leonard is going to cool down just a touch, and it does kind of scare me off a little bit. With that being said, I think I do like Devin Booker's over. It's set to 28.5. I know that seems really high, but we are talking about Devin Booker. He ended up with 26 last game. He's struggled a little bit versus the Clippers, but there's not going to be any Paul George. That's a huge defensive piece for the Clippers, and if you're asking for 29 from a guy that gets that on an average basis, I think that he can easily get there. I really do. So I do like Devin Booker's over in points, and Kevin Durant's is set to 27.5 too. I don't mind that, but he is going to have a much tougher matchup with Kawhi Leonard on him. But I do really like Devin Booker. I know he hasn't been great versus the Clippers in the past, but with no Paul George, it's going to be a whole different story. So that is one lean that I do have. Of course, let me know what you guys do like from that game. I will be adding one. I just am not 100% sure what I'm going to be doing. So as always, make sure you guys do check out the pinned comment section and do check out my Twitter, so that way you guys can have access to that play as well. But that is going to do it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you guys do like, comment, subscribe, turn on that notification bell so you guys know whenever I post. And like I said, we are still on the road to 13,000 subscribers. So if you guys are new, make sure that you guys are subbed. But that's going to do it for me. This is King Center signing out. Peace.